Japan. The 1920s. The land of the rising sun undergoes a deep recession in the post-World War I era. To make matters worse, the country is stricken by an unprecedented earthquake that takes the lives of more than 140,000 people. That's when Kazuto Hirozawa returns to his homeland after serving 4 years in the Japanese Siberian intervention, surviving the cold of -30 degrees Celsius. He had just married Kimiko Hirozawa, and they both wished for a more prosperous and less cold life. The young couple decided to chase their dream of living abroad and chose Brazil for the promises of building a coffee empire, living in wealth in a land of endless summers. And just like that, 25-year-old Kazuto, together with 18-year-old Kimiko, said goodbye to Hiroshima and embarked the Chicago Maru on April 15, 1924. After 2 long months crossing the Pacific Ocean, Kazuto and Kimiko arrived in Brazil at the port of Santos on June 19, 1924. They settled at the Japanese colony of Agua Branca in Barigui in rural São Paulo. Soon after they arrived, Kazuto and Kimiko realized that building a coffee empire was not an easy task. Wealth was not easily available. They worked hard for other landowners, making less than 1 yen per day. After 7 years giving their blood, sweat, and tears, they finally saved enough money to acquire their first piece of land. It was a small terrain of dry and fertile soil filled with weeds and dead trees. But Kazuto and Kimiko were determined to make the land thrive. They worked the soil for 3 years, battling frosts and pests, and were able to turn the terrain into a beautiful farm filled with life. In 1934, after 10 years living in Brazil, they finally got a glimpse of what it was like to live in wealth. They sold the terrain for a considerable amount and left the state of São Paulo towards the lush and fertile lands of Paraná in the southwest of the country. They settled in the estate of Três Barras, now called ACE, and bought a farm in the Figueira section. Kazuto and Kimiko quickly integrated with the Japanese community, and they became important names for the development of the region. Kazuto founded the Japanese Association of Figueira to strengthen the friendship between the immigrants, and he fomented an educational system similar to Japan so that the children of immigrants could have access to high-quality schools. After Figueira, they moved to another section, Jangada, where they settled down, grew their roots, and built a strong and healthy home. They had 8 children: Kiyomi, Selena, Kazuo, Manuel, Gloria, Elena, Teresa, and Audemars. They survived the calamitous frosts of 1942, lived through World War II, and witnessed firsthand the prejudice against the Japanese. But it was in 1953, almost 30 years after arriving in Brazil, that the Hirozawa family faced its most difficult battle. Kazuto Hirozawa, the patriarch of the family, died from kidney failure at the age of 55. In the blink of an eye, Kimiko became a widower, a single mother of 8 children. The youngest, Audemars, was only 3. She also had to look after the farm. She could not give up their precious land. With the help of her oldest kids, Kimiko was able to find strength to carry on with Kazuto's legacy. The land became fertile once again, and the Hirozawa dream lived on. One by one, Kimiko saw her children grow up, graduate, and live fruitful lives. They all got married and started their own families. In 1994, at the age of 88, after a life filled with great challenges and even greater achievements, Kimiko joined Kazuto and said goodbye to her family. But the Hirozawa legacy continues. Their 8 children led to 22 grandchildren, 39 great-grandchildren, and 16 great-great-grandchildren. Tomi Hirozawa, Kazuo's wife, took over the role of matriarch of the family and, to this day, keeps the family traditions alive. The Hirozawa farm at Jangada is still running fast, thanks to Orlando, Kazuo's second son, who inherited the green fingers from his father and grandfather. Harvesting is not easy. Some crops are better than others. But the Hirazawa tree, planted 100 years ago by Kazuto and Kimiko, is immune to droughts, frosts, and pests. It keeps bearing healthy fruits and beautiful flowers at every new generation. Thank you so much, Kazuto and Kimiko Hirazawa.
どうもありがとうございます。